Good evening and welcome to Terrace Talk. And today I'm excited for this one. Should be the league that we're in, but obviously we're terrible and get relegated, so we're not in it. But it looks an exciting league, this one for me. Probably one of the most competitive leagues out there for next season. So we'll start with you, Bez. I mean, how you feeling, mate? Are you looking forward to this one?
Yeah, looking forward to this one. Like you said, we should have a little bit of knowledge of this league, having been in the league last couple of seasons. And like you rightly so, I mean, like you said, it is actually quite a competitive league these days. It's not every day you get a Leicester City in there. You've had Wolves in there previously. You've had Birmingham, Southampton, Cardiff. A lot of these so-called bigger sides have been at this level now, so it does become more competitive. And I think this is why, like we did obviously we've done the League Two one that was released yesterday. This is why those sort of clubs like Fleetwood, Accrington, they can get to League One, but that's it. They can't get any further because League One is a difficult league. So yeah, I'm looking forward to it. We'll start with Wimbledon, shall we? They're obviously number one on the alphabetical scale. Now then, Wimbledon. It's actually an easy one for me, and I kind of made my mind up before I even looked at who the manager was, who'd signed, because Wimbledon last season I went on an horrific run of form towards the end of the season, and I think they got one lucky last minute winner against, I think, Wigan Athletic it were, and that win managed to keep them in the league. I do actually like the manager, Johnny Jackson. I really do rate him. But when he got Wimbledon to kind of mid-table last season with about 8, 9, 10 games to go, I thought that they'd have zero chance going down, and they were so close. They were so fortunate that Exeter City also had a kind of a bad run of form. They brought in a few free transfers. They have actually spent money on a player as well, but they had him on loan, I believe, last season, James Tiller. Jaden Stockley from Port Vale's a decent signing, but again, he did go down with Port Vale last season. Steven Sessegnon from Wigan Athletic as well. I do actually like that signing, but I'm sorry, Wimbledon fans. But I do think you're one of the teams who will be getting relegated to League Two.
So, I mean, we're going to start off the exact same because I've got also Wimbledon to get relegated. I mean, I think they were lucky last season. I thought they were one of the worst teams I'd seen last season. Yeah, they've strengthened, but one player got relegated with Port Vale. The other one was already there last season and they had a terrible season. So for me, I can't see past Wimbledon getting relegated. Sorry, Wimbledon fans, but yeah, I think your time's up in League One for me.
Okay. Next, one of our first local clubs to Rotherham United. Obviously, we've got a few in this division, and that is Barnsley. Now, Barnsley traditionally are probably a championship club. I think they've got the record for the amount of seasons spent in the championship in a row, which was only, I think the record was only a few years ago. It wasn't that long ago, if I remember serves correctly. But at the minute, the club, I believe, are run really poorly. Now, Barnsley, if you've noticed, a bit like Rotherham, to be honest with you, they've gradually got worse and worse and worse. Now, the difference between Rotherham and Barnsley is that obviously Rotherham, there was no gradually about it. Rotherham went from Championship straight into like 14th in League One, and then the year after straight down to League Two. So that wasn't gradual. That was kind of a big drop. Whereas Barnsley, they do seem to be gradually getting worse and worse, and they're gradually falling or slipping down that table. Now, Daniel Stendel's come back to the football club, and I think he's quite a popular figure amongst Barnsley fans, and I think he did a good job when he was here the first time. I think he took Barnsley up from this league, but they had players such as Kiefer Moore in the side then, a lot better players. I look at the transfers and they've signed a lot of unknowns. They've signed a kid from a Dutch side called Telstar for £250,000 called Tyrese Noslin. If that doesn't reek of a Denzel Hall, I don't know what does. They've signed a lot of players that are unknown from like Scarborough. They've signed Cameron McGeegan from Northampton, which is a good signing. Frankie Middleton from Doncaster, Sam Gale from Gillingham. Again, a lot of these players aren't really well known. And look, I think Barnsley are in trouble this season. However, I'm not going to put them going down. I think they're going to finish just outside the bottom half. I do think there are 4 clubs in this division which historically are a lot smaller than Barnsley. I just think that is why Barnsley will get off the hook. I think that next season is when Barnsley may look to go down, but they're definitely getting closer and closer, in my opinion.
On to me then. So for me, I'm sorry, Barnsley, but I'm having you relegated. I've absolutely seen nothing from the summer recruitment. You've lost your best player. Dunn's gone, and the other guy's gone as well. I forget his name. Probably the 2 best players have been.
They have still got Reece McCleary, to be fair to him. They've still got him, Lee. They have still got him as it stands now.
Yeah, as it stands, I think he will be gone before the season. But even with him, I don't think they've got enough quality. And you talk about size of club. I said Barnsley, very similar size to Rotherham. Rotherham got relegated, and last season they were terrible. And I don't think they're going to improve. I think they're going to get worse. They've signed players from, like you said, Scarborough. I don't see anything from Barnsley to say that they're going to stay up. So for me, sorry, Barnsley, I see you getting relegated.
Interesting. I'm actually not surprised at that, to be honest with you. I think it's been on the cards for a couple of years, Lee suggesting Barnsley will go down. But it does look at, if you look at Rotherham last season, it does look like Barnsley are copying Rotherham a little bit, and that's why they are in danger of probably going down. Right, Blackpool is next. Now, Blackpool, obviously, they were in danger last season of getting relegated until Ian Evatt came in, and to be fair, he did a decent job. Now, I actually really like Ian Evatt. He's someone who I wanted at Rotherham. I thought that Bolton were wrong to get rid of him when they did. I think when they got rid of him, I think they were like 6th or maybe just outside of playoffs or just inside. I can't remember, but they didn't go up that year, and it took them another year to get promoted. I think he never would have done the same. I think he'd have got them up in this year, with the league not being great. I think the summit sizes they've signed Blackpool. I like the look of Dion Charles. That's a great signing from Huddersfield Town on loan. And they've also signed Jordan Williams on loan from Portsmouth. Apart from that, they've not actually brought a lot in. Just a couple of nondescript players. Ilmari Niskanen from Exeter, I don't know much about, and Karoy Anderson from Charlton for a fee. So what it seems like he's done, Ever, is he's used the quality that they had last season to shoot them up into the middle of the table, and then he's just added to that with these players. I don't think they're good enough to get in the playoffs at Blackpool, but I do think they will be comfortable mid-table. So I'm putting them in mid-table.
Yeah, I disagree with you on Evatt. I'm not a massive Ian Evatt fan, to be honest with you. I think he was overrated. I think he's very negative tactically. I think Blackpool are going to struggle again. I'm going to put them in a bottom half finish for me. I don't think they've got enough quality in that side to break to mid-table for me. So I'm going to put them bottom half.
Okay, interesting. Next, another Yorkshire rival of ourselves, Bradford City. Obviously, had an exceptional season last season. They've still got Graham Alexander as their manager, who I really rate. Think he's a great manager. I'm surprised that he's not made his way into a championship club, to be honest with you. And yeah, while they've got this guy in charge, I think they're gonna do well. And they've also added extremely well this year Jake Beasley from Burton Albion. I think that was a great signing, and he was signed for a fee. Adam Phillips from Barnsley. I have to say, I can't believe they've got this guy. And this is the guy I think Lee was referring to when he said that he'd left Barnsley. It's one of their better players. The fact he's gone to Bradford does surprise me. He could have easily got into a championship club, in my opinion. But fair play to Bradford. They've obviously got a bit of money behind him, and that's why Bradford continue to if you like, improve on the pitch. Callum Connolly, another good signing from Stockport. Macaulay Gillespie from Charlton. John McCracken, just an old goalkeeper, I assume will be back up. Henry Cartwright from Leicester, who I think they had last season, and Reece Welsh from Everton. Now, it's whether or not I think Bradford can get a playoff place, and the answer from me is yes. I think that Bradford will be once again in those playoff places.
Sorry, Bez, got to disagree with you again. And on Parkinson, I don't think he's a great manager either. I think if Bradford want to Alexander, yeah, if they want to take the next step, they need to get rid of him.
Wow.
They dropped like a stone.
Okay.
They were up there, dropped like a stone, and I predicted it. I'm sorry, but I did. Chickens on the Loose podcast, he can confirm. I told him that they wouldn't go up. They have made some decent signings. That's where I'm going to put them as a mid-table team because of the signings. I think that's who the guy I was on about from Barnsley that come to them. That's a great coup. And another reason why I think Barnsley will get relegated. But for me, the manager is a standard League One manager. I don't think he's any better than that. And I think if they want to progress higher up the table, they need a better tactician, better manager for me.
Okay, interesting. You do know that I think he's got about 6 promotions on his CV. I know all at League 2, League 1. League 2.
Yeah, that's his level, mate. That's his level for me. League 2 stroke League 1. He's not above that, mate. That's why.
Fair enough. Next, a new team to enter League 1, and congratulations to Bromley, who did win promotion at a canter last season by winning League 2. Andy Woodman, what a job this guy has done. He's took over a team who I don't think they've been in the Football League previously. Obviously, got them promoted in a difficult league. I mean, I always say the conference is quite hard to get out of. So the fact that he got out of that kind of league with big sides like Barnet were in there at the time. I think Scunthorpe were in there at the time. There's a lot of, if you like, big sides. Oldham were in there. Rochdale, I think, might have been in there. So, first of all, he's done a great job getting them out of the conference. And then to kind of carry that on into last season, unbelievable. Is this where it ends? Now, it's a tricky one, this one, because I really rate Andy Woodman. And sometimes you only really need a good manager to ensure that you aren't relegated. And let's face it, even though Bromley have been so good, their first priority is to stay in the league. Unfortunately, as we said at the start of the kind of show, it is a very challenging league, is League One nowadays. If you've got a team like Rotherham, who are traditionally successful at that level, going down, and then you've got a team like Barnsley who continue to struggle, and they've always been good in League One. I think it does show how strong that league is now in terms of big sides being in there. Obviously, Leicester in there, Huddersfield are in there, Sheffield Wednesday are in there, Plymouth are in there. There's quite a lot of, if you like, decent sides in there. So I'm sorry, Bromley, but I'm going to have you going down. But I wish you all the luck in staying up.
I do agree with you on this one, Bez. I think Bromley will be relegated. I think they'll finish rock bottom as well. Not enough quality in that side. Punching above the weight. Fair play to them for the promotion, but that squad is not good enough to compete. For me, I believe they'll get relegated as bottom place.
Okay, interesting. Next is Burton Albion. Now, Burton Albion, again, every single season they're in League One, they do seem to be near the bottom, and they do seem to be able getting out of it. I really rate the manager. Gary Bowyer still there. And again, it's one of them where, with Gary Bowyer in charge, can I ever see this Burton side going down? However, I do look at the recruitment. They've obviously lost their number one striker to Bradford, Jake Beasley. They've lost a few others. I think Dylan Williams went to Motherwell for undisclosed fee. They lost a player to Stevenage. A couple of players have gone back abroad. They had a couple of Swedish players who have kind of gone back abroad. And they've only really brought in 3 permanents and 1 loan. The one loan is a goalkeeper from Stockport, and they've brought in Curtis Till, who I guess he did okay for Bradford last season, but he's quite old now, and I'm not his biggest fan. They've brought Matthew Dennis from Notts County, who were obviously in the league below, and then they've also brought had a bit of a gamble on an Irish player from Dundalk, Kebemi Aruba. Again, it's another tricky one. I actually think, and I'm sorry to say this, I think that Burton, their time in League One is up this season. I'm going to have them going down, I'm afraid. Sorry, Burton fans.
Yeah, this one's a tight call, but obviously I've only got one relegation place left, and I think there's a worse team than them. So for me, I think the manager I think they're going to have a struggle because, like you said, they've lost Beasley, lost a few other players, and they're always in and around the bottom. But they always seem just to get that win, just to stay up. And I think they'll do the exact same this season. The manager, for me, should be managing a bigger club. I think he'd do a really good job at somewhere like Blackburn or somebody like that. But he's at Burton, and I think with him, they'll just have enough to stay up, but it'll be very close.
Okay. Next is Cambridge United. Again, they had an exceptional season last season. Yes, they only finished third, but I think they've brought in something like 25 players over the course of the two transfer windows. So you've got to praise Mr. Neil Harris, their manager. He did an excellent job in getting the club over the line and back into League One. Now, I'm just looking at the transfers that they've brought in. Again, they've only brought in 3 permanents and a couple of loans. Isaac Keith from Everton, don't know a lot about him. He's just a youngster that signed for some money. Constead from Barnet, I think that's a decent signing. And they've also signed Patrick Bauer from Wimbledon, who is a decent player, but again, he's knocking on a little bit at 33 years old. And as I said, they've got a couple of loans in. Gassan had Hardmay from Charlton and Callum Perry from Coventry. They have actually lost a lot of players. I'm just counting here. Some of these will obviously be youngsters, but they've lost, I think, about 15 players, including James Brophy, who I think was one of their better players, James Gibbons and Ben Peerington, who's gone to Bristol Rovers. I'll be honest, I'm a little bit torn with Cambridge. It's one of the clubs where I'm not really sure if they're going to get out of it or not. But I'm looking at the rest of the teams that I've got to pick from, and I can't see another team who will go down. So Cambridge, I'm going to have you in the relegation spots, I'm afraid. So there we go. I've got 2 of the promoted sides going straight back down.
Yeah, so again, I think Cambridge are in for a season of struggle, like you said, but I think Neil Harris is a good manager, too good for Cambridge, I think, but I think he'll keep them up just, but it'll be tight. It will be tight, but Cambridge will just stay up.
Okay, next then is another, if you like, South Yorkshire rival in Doncaster Rovers, and I think I could already see why Lee has got Cambridge, and I think he had Burton just stuffing up, and I think you're about to find out why. So Doncaster, as I say, a local team to us. They've still got Grant McCann. Again, I really rate this manager, Grant McCann. He's had about 3 promotions on his CV, including a promotion out of League One into the Championship as well. Albeit, I think he got the club relegated when they went up into the Championship. Whilst ever Grant McCann's Doncaster manager, I just can't see him going down. They've signed quite a lot of players. Leon Ayinde from Ipswich, Neil Byrne from Bradford, James Husband's a decent signing. Francis Okawonkwo, who they had on loan last season. Isaac Hutchinson is the key one. He was excellent for Bristol Rovers last season. They've managed to pick him up for an undisclosed fee. Jordan Thomas and Josh Clark. Obviously, they have lost one of their main men in Luke Molyneux, even though I did say I wasn't his biggest fan on yesterday's League Two predictions, he was still important to Doncaster, so they are going to miss him. I don't think they're going to pull a lot of trees up. I think Alfie May, by the way, is a great sign on loan. Obviously, he started his career at Doncaster, so he's kind of gone back there. So I'm going to put Doncaster in with Barnsley in the bottom half.
Well, there's going to be no surprises for me. I've left a lovely spot for Doncaster Rovers to get relegated. They was the biggest overachievers last season, because that team, what they have got is absolute Danny Dyer. Absolutely awful. They've lost the best player for me. I rated Luke Molyneux. I'd liked him at Rotherham. The fact that they lost him to a League Two team is utterly embarrassing. You need to hold your head in shame losing the best player to him, to Salford, Gary Neville. Jesus Christ. Absolute disgrace. I think they're going to have a terrible season. And I do see Rotherham swapping places with Barnsley and Doncaster, with Rotherham getting promoted and these two jokes getting relegated for me. I just don't think they've got enough quality at all. I think Isaac Hutchinson, was it from Bristol, the sign?
Yeah, Isaac Hutchinson,
I think that is a decent signing. But other than that, I mean, I'm not a fan of Alfie May either. I think he's past it. He weren't even good when he was in his peak. So for me, I think it's not a great signing. And it screams of desperation. They've lost the main man, and now they're desperate. And they're going to be desperate to hang on to League One safety, but they're not going to do it, unfortunately. Well, not unfortunately, because I don't like Doncaster. It's a horrible town full of caravans and horrible places. For me, the place is just, it should be shut down, really. I mean, I don't know if the chairman will try and set fire to the stadium again and try and do an insurance job. I don't know, but they are getting relegated. Doncaster Rovers for me.
Okay. Next, then, Huddersfield Town, another Yorkshire team. I mean, one good thing about this league for obviously these Yorkshire sides is they have got a lot of derbies, and it is one of the issues as to why I would gutted that Rotherham got relegated, to be honest. Obviously, if there's been this division, they've had a derby every other week, it looks like. Huddersfield Town, let's face it, they're a decent sized club at this level. I'm not a big fan of the manager. They've still got Martin Drury, who, again, he's only really been a bit like our manager Bruce. He managed Bradford Park Avenue, I think, and I think he went to Bradford City for a while as manager, and then he obviously came to Huddersfield. He obviously did a decent job though, I think, last season. They didn't get in the playoffs though, so he couldn't have done that good a job. So I have to say, keeping Martin Drury is a major negative for me. Looking at some of the signings, Ethan Brealey from Brentford looks a decent signing. Ashley Fletcher from Blackpool, average signing. They've signed Ilias Bronkers from Excelsior, Dylan Tawodzera from Sheffield United. A lot of foreigners, actually, again. Derenzili, Sanchez Fernandez, Chikaya, Ivan Flake, and then Ivan Boa. And just looking at these signs, a lot are again unheard of, and I think it is a little bit of a gamble. And because of that, I think they're going to have another year where we expect them to, get into the playoffs, and they're going to fall short. I'm going to put them in mid-table, and I think they're going to finish like 7th, 8th, or 9th.
Yeah, this has been the hardest pick for me, this one. But I tend to agree with you. I don't rate the manager. I think they need a better manager to take them to the next level of playoffs. They've signed like you say, a lot of foreign players. They're going to need time to adjust. We've seen that with the ones Rotherham signed. Yeah, for me, mid-table. Same as you, Bez, with that one, mate.
Okay. Next is Leicester City. So the clear favourites and by far the biggest club in this division. Look, I'm not going to go into too much detail. The manager's Russell Martin. I actually don't mind him. I know a lot of people who really hate him and his style of football because he's seen as quite negative. I actually like him. He's obviously got proven He's been proven at both this level and the level above. So I think Leicester's got a championship manager there, if you like. And as I said, I'm not really going to look at the signings because they've still got a strong squad from last season. I do know they've signed Connor Chaplin, a championship player, Alex McCarthy, a championship player, Wes Burns, a championship player. Look, I think there's no danger that I won't be surprised if Lee did the same. Straight Leicester City, champions of League One 2027. Well done.
Yeah, I mean, for me, I don't know how they've got into this position where they're in this league. It's ridiculous, really. I didn't expect them to get relegated. They were terrible. But I do like the manager. I think he'll get them out of this league. They've signed players that are too good for League One, and they'll do them in the Championship as well. So they're thinking about the season after. I think they know they're going to get promoted. For me, they are going to be champions.
Yeah, easy peasy. Next, Leighton Orient. So again, another side who was struggling last season. I do like the manager, Richie Wellens. He was there all last season. It's not as if he came in and saved them. You know, when they were in the bottom four, he was a manager, but he's done well to dig them out of it. Now, I'm looking at Leighton Orient signings, and I have to say I'm really impressed with some of these. They signed Finn Stevens, a right back from St. Pauli, who was at Brentford. He's a very good right back. They signed one of Lee's favourite players, Armando Dobra from Chesterfield. Whether he's good enough for League One, though, I'm not sure. They've signed Tony Springett from Norwich. Again, he was close to a first team game at Norwich, so that's a good signing. Nathan Baxter, the goalkeeper. Isaac Hayden, these experienced players. Joseph Aluwu, who I think he was at Doncaster, left to go to Stockport, and now they've got him. The other two players I'm not too sure about, Tariq El Saidi or Sadi and Jose Cabai. I don't know them. They've also got a couple of loans in from Premier League sides. So yeah, I actually think Leighton Orient are going to be a surprise package. I'm not going to put them in the playoffs though. I'm just going to put them in mid-table. I think they're going to get a top 10 finish this year.
Yeah, for me, I disagree. I think they're going to be in the bottom half. Yeah, I mean, I do like the signing from Chesterfield, but it, like I say, it's not. He's been predominantly playing in the lower league, so that is a risk signing. I don't think they've got enough quality to break into mid-table for me. I think they'll be bottom half.
Okay, interesting. Next is Luton Town. Obviously, Luton Town were only in the Premier League a couple, 2 or 3 seasons ago. So again, they 2 relegations in a row. And to be fair to Luton, they had a good season last season. They could have been in a situation where they struggled again, and obviously not went down, but they could have been near the bottom and carried on this kind of negative run. But Jack Wilshere, to be fair to him, I think he did a really good job. And they just missed out on the playoffs. I think another game or another 2 games to go, and I think he would have got them into the playoffs. And I would have fancied Luton to get promotion as well if they'd have sneaked in. So I think, yeah, Jack Wilshere, up and coming manager. Obviously, you're a good coach at Arsenal. He's had a year to kind of prepare. I like the fact that they've only brought in 3 permanents and 1 loan. It suggests they've already got a strong squad, which they have. If you've got a Jerry Yates who is going out on loan, you must have got a decent set of 11. So I'm actually going to have Luton as my promoted side in second place. I think they are going to have a good season and get promoted along with Leicester City.
I need to disagree with you on that one, Bez. I think they're going to have a good season, though. Keem Doffin, if you can keep him fit, keep the goals out. But I'm going to put them in the playoff spots. I think they'll get the playoffs this season. Wiltshire, I do like him. He steadied the ship last season, just missing out on the playoffs. I think this season they'll take it one step further and they will get into the playoffs. So, yeah, they'll have a good season.
Okay. Next, Mansfield Town. Obviously, still Nigel Clough as their manager, and again, another good manager. a club who they seem to improve year on year on year. I think there's only been 1 year where he's not had an improvement from the previous year, from what I gather. And I think last season they ended up having not a good year, but that's because they had that good cup run, if you remember. I think that kind of cost them maybe 2 or 3 league positions. Signings wise, they've only brought in 4 permanents, no loans, and again, it's just a case of them building on from the squad they had last year. And sometimes when these clubs sign, only 3 or 4 players, it would suggest that they've already got a decent squad and they're just trying to improve the odd position. And I think that's what Mansfield have done. David McGoldrick will be a good signing despite him being really old, because he had a good season last season for Barnsley, and I think he'll do the same again. I think John Russell's a great signing. I think, again, he's come from Barnsley. He's one of them players who I was watching the Mansfield Sheffield game the other day, and I know Sheffield had dominated the game, but he actually showed some really nice touches, and I think he'll be good for them. Michael Smith, who I know Lee don't like, he's also a little bit old. Whether or not he's going to be good enough this year or not, I don't know. I'm not a big fan of older players, but he had a good season for Preston last season, so you never know. He can probably carry that into this season. And lastly, Liam Thompson from Derby was a great signing, in my opinion. He's played a lot of times for Derby County, 105 to be exact. He's just got better and better and better. And I think Derby have just kind of gone beyond him now, and he's probably a top League One player. Difficult where I'm going to put them, I'm not going to lie. To me, they are on the edge of the playoffs, between playoffs and mid-table. I'm just trying to work out. I'm going to put them mid-table. I'm not going to put them first. I'm going to put them mid-table.
Yeah, so this one was a difficult one for me. I can't remember his name, but one of their better players has left. He was running his contract down and he didn't sign it, and he's just gone. So I think that's a big loss for Mansfield Town. Can't remember the player's name actually, but I was listening to Clough's interview and he was saying obviously he'd let his contract run down, so they were going to get rid of him. But they are a very good team. My worry is that their front line is too aging with Smith and McGoldrick. It's like you've got 2 really sort of old players. So that is the reason I still think they'll sneak in the playoff, I think they'll still sneak in there because they have got a good team. And I absolutely rate Clough. I think he's a fantastic manager. And I think Dizzy will score the goals for them. Don't rate Michael Smith, but, he's too old. But maybe if they get another striker in with some legs to play around Dizzy, I think Mansfield are a problem. I think they've improved year upon year, and I think they've got a great manager. I don't know how Mansfield have kept hold of Nigel Clough for me. I expected him to be going on to managing the Championship, but yeah, I think they'll sneak in the playoffs.
It is interesting because obviously I was under an hour as well, and when I kind of put them into mid-table, I'm thinking, is that a mistake? And the fact that you've said there, you make a very good point. Their strikers, albeit one, I think both are okay. I know you're not a big fan of Smith, but both are okay. The fact that they are both 34 and more, that actually has persuaded me to keep him mid-table. Because I think you're right. I think that's going to cost him the players being too old. So yeah, interesting. Next, Milton Keynes Dons, or Franchise FC is a lot of teams, or as they are called. Straight away, they've got one of the best managers you can get at that level, Paul Warne. His record at that level is unbelievable. I want to say 4 promotions in about 8 years from that level. He's also won promotion last season with MK Dons from League 2. Looking at sort of signings, they've brought in some unbelievable players. I don't know how they've got some of them. Sam Nombe from Rotherham. He's an okay signing, actually. I think they've overpaid for him because he obviously struggled last season for Rotherham, but it's an okay signing. But Ryan Wintle, excellent signing. Sam Silvera, excellent signing. Dan Barlaser, I cannot understand how he's come here, to be honest with you. Excellent signing. Cohen Bramall, again, he's okay. He's known at this level, and he did do well for Luton, so that's an okay signing. Charlie Good, excellent signing. So I can't believe they've got some of these players. And because of that, and because of the way Paul Warren is, I'm actually going to put MK Dons into those playoffs. I think they're going to do it.
Yeah, interesting you said that. I have to agree with you, mate. I think MK Dons are going to be up there. They've got a serial promotion winner at this level. Not good enough for the championship, but at this level, he's a great manager. Barlaser is an unbelievable signing at that level. I think Nombe is a good signing and a good team. I think he'll do well. I think Corin Bramall's not very good, but yeah, I think with Paul Warren, they will challenge this season, and I think they will make the playoffs. So I agree with you on that one, mate.
Okay, interesting. Next, we have another promoted side from League Two in Notts County. Head coach or manager, Martin Patterson. Someone who, when Notts County lost their manager, I can't remember who the manager was, but they lost their manager. I think he went higher up in the pyramid. And I think a lot of people thought, that's it, Notts County are going to kind of fade away. Now, but Martin Patterson's actually done a really good job in kind of continuing their improvement year on year. And I have to say, last season, getting promoted, I think it was, and they didn't just get promoted, they completely dominated, annihilated Salford in the final. I think you've got to praise him. Some of the signings, James Givens is a good signing, Max Sanders, Matt Baker, Jack Evans, a lot of decent signings. They have signed a Callum Roberts from Scunthorpe, who I know a lot about because I do watch a couple of Scunthorpe United vlogs. It's only because they've obviously lowered themselves to the National League North, and I'm just intrigued on how they're getting on because I think Scunthorpe should be a lot higher in the divisions. But Callum Roberts was a fantastic player for Scunthorpe, a brilliant player. Whether he can do it at League One level, I don't think he can. I even think if Rotherham had signed him in League Two, I think that would have been a great signing. So I don't think that's one of the best signings they can make. I don't think they're going to do any damage in this league. I'm just going to put them at bottom half. I think they'll finish. They'll not go down, but they'll finish comfortable 15th to 20th or something in there.
Yeah, I mean, I'm just going to put Notts County. I mean, have I got anybody left for the bottom half? How many?
Yeah, you've got one left. Yeah,
I've got one. Let's have a look who's left. Yeah, I'll put Notts County in the bottom half as well. First season back at this level, so yeah, I think Notts County will be in the bottom half. They're not a great squad. I was shocked that we got promoted, to be fair.
Okay. Next is Oxford United, obviously a team relegated from the Championship. And I think the thing with Oxford is I kind of see them doing a little bit of a Rotherham in that first season. I don't think they're going to go straight back up. I don't think they'll go down, but I don't think they're going to go straight back up either. They have took a big gamble as well because their manager is Aaron Ramsey. So I believe it's his first managerial job. He was the caretaker at Cardiff, so he was there a little bit. But I do see this as a massive gamble, actually. And they've not really brought a lot of players in. They've brought Ruben Ruskin from Huddersfield, which is an okay signing, and Frankie Kent's actually a great signing from Hearts, to be fair. That's a fantastic signing, obviously, considering Hearts nearly won the league. But that's it. They've not brought anyone else in. I think the squad's okay. Not the best. So yeah, I'm just going to have these quite comfortably in mid-table.
Yeah, I mean, obviously they were relegated last season, but yeah, I think they have got enough quality to be mid-table. So I'm with you on that one, mid-table for them, for me.
Okay. Next is Peterborough United, and I do want to ask our Peterborough fans if they watch this: is what's your logo all about? Just intrigued. I mean, we could probably find it out ourselves, but I'm just intrigued as to what your logo is all about. So if you should come back to us in comments, that'll be great. Peterborough, obviously, again, a club who were really struggling last season. Manager came in, Luke Williams, did an incredible job. I think they ended up in top half, if I'm not mistaken, last season. So he has done an incredible job, and he's still there. He's one of them managers where I actually think he might not be at Peterborough come end of the season. If they're doing well, I think he might end up moving to another club. Just look at the signings. They've not actually made a lot of signings. I think it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And they're all permanent signings. Again, not a lot of players that we recognise. Tom O'Connor from Wrexham's a great signing. He's obviously done well with Wrexham. Wuru Edwards from Colchester. Evan Weir from Walsall. Again, not really players who are known. I mean, that's typical Peter, don't they? They always kind of sign unknown players. I think I'm going to put you in mid-table as well, to be honest with you. So Indy going to mid-table.
Yeah, I have to agree with you. Mid-table for me as well, Peterborough. Yeah, I don't see him struggling in the bottom half, and I don't see him challenging the playoffs. So yeah, I agree with you, mid-table for Peterborough for them. Yeah.
Okay. Next, Plymouth Argyle. Obviously, we have a few Argyle fans who watch, so hope you're watching this. Welcome. Tom Clever's still the manager now. I think in November, December time, I think Plymouth Argyle were really struggling, and they really wanted Tom Cleverley out. I watched a couple of like vlogs that a couple of their fans do. And I think some of the away ends got really toxic. Sometimes I kind of wish Rotherham fans got a little bit toxic sometimes, because it seems like we're just happy to go along with losing every week. But Plymouth Argyle, they were really toxic. And like I said, the fact he kept his job was unbelievable. However, the change was they actually brought in Derek Adams as a director of football or head of football or one of these footballing roles. And as soon as he came in, Plymouth just shut up the league. And the last game of the season, they obviously had Northampton. They beat Northampton away. And I think there were like 2 minutes off going into the playoffs. And then there were 2 last-minute goals that went in for other sides. And that knocked Plymouth back into like 8th or 9th. And they just missed out on the playoffs. I think with that, and some signs they've made, Wes Harding, they've signed, who at this level is a decent signing. I like that Alex Mitchell, 250,000. They signed. Is it Will Evans you were on about then, Lee, from Mansfield?
Yeah, that's Will Evans has gone there. Yeah, it's a good signing.
Yeah, that is a great signing, Will Evans, for about 400,000. So I actually am going to have Plymouth in the playoffs. I think they're going to continue the kind of improvement what they took on from November, December last year, and they're going to carry it on into the playoffs this year.
Yeah, and I agree with you. I think they'll be pushing for automatics, but I think they'll just miss out. I think they'll get in the playoffs.
Okay. Next then is Reading. Bit of a strange football club, Reading, at the minute. I mean, I can't believe that Liam Richardson's still the manager, because Liam Richardson took over, did an incredible job getting Reading to within the playoffs, and then they, I don't know, something happened behind the scenes, which I'm not a Reading fan, I don't really know, and there were rumours that he was going to get sacked, and I thought he were going to get sacked, and he hasn't got sacked, so I don't really know what's happened there. I do think they're in a bit of a mess, though, as I said, Reading. I'm looking at the signings here. They're signing Kyrese Lisley from Colchester, who's a good signing. Jacob Brown's coming from Luton. Again, that's okay. But all the other ones, I don't really know much about. Goodwin Malif, Callum Cliff, Matteo Dashi, and Torin Natege. I don't know a lot about them. They've also loaned in Josh Stokes, who I believe he was the one of the goal scorer, or scored a lot of goals. I think for honestly all the shot in the non-league, and Bristol City snapped him up, and he's kind of been out on loan to Cambridge, Stockport, not really done very well. He's gone to Reading. Again, I don't think that's a good signing, and because of that, and there's a lot of turbulence behind the scenes still, I'm going to put Reading in the bottom half.
Interesting. Reading in the bottom half. Yeah, I'm just going to go mid-table again. I don't think they'll get dragged into the bottom half. Liam Richardson's a good manager. They've got some decent players, so I'm going to put mid-table.
Okay. Up next, Sheffield Wednesday. Lee, if you put Sheffield Wednesday in second, I'm going to turn this podcast off. I really am. If you put me second, I'm going to turn it off. Right, and I'm warning you. Right, Sheffield Wednesday, obviously, our local rivals. Now, again, we all know decent-sized club at this level, and I do think that some of the signings they've made are good. Ricardo Santos, great signing. Callum Slattery, great signing. Louis Barry, okay. I think he struggled last year for Stockport. He struggled when he went into the Championships. That's an okay sign. Joe Lumley, brilliant signing. Billy Mitchell, great signing. And I think that Swinkles, who they've signed from Aston Villa, got a lot of praise in their first game. So I think you've got to credit the signings that they've made. Obviously, I did a video about how it's not very good that Sheffield Wednesday have come out of administration and straight that have gone in, spent money. I had a lot of criticism saying they've not spent money. It says here, Ricardo Santos undisclosed, Callum Slattery, Jordi Leongola undisclosed, Silly Swinkles undisclosed, Barry Vannin, Louis Barry, all undisclosed. So they have spent money. Joe Lumley, Callum Slattery, Barry Vannin, all these players will be on big wages. So they have spent a lot of money. The only thing holding Sheffield Wednesday back is the manager. I really don't rate Henrik Pedersen, and it's interesting. I was talking to him with some lads, my mates in the pub the other day about Henrik Pedersen, and that Wednesday beat Bolton at the weekend. And did I want Wednesday to win the game? No, but in the long run, I do. If Wednesday can somehow have a good cup run, which they're never going to win, and it derails them from the league, and that cup run just keeps Pedersen in a job, that's great. The longer Pedersen's in a job, the longer Wednesday will struggle. But you'll not get promoted until you replace this manager. And because of that, I think that Wednesday are going to start off really poorly. And then they're going to, when the manager goes, they're going to come back. And I'm going to put Wednesday in mid-table because of it. I really believe that's what's going to happen. I just think they're going to have a bad start. Don't forget, they've signed a lot of players as well, so that could also mean they need time to gel. So, yeah, I'm going to put them in mid-table.
So the only thing I can agree with you there on, Bez, is that the Sheffield Wednesday manager, I don't rate him. Yeah, I agree with you on that. I don't think he's good enough. However, the signings that Sheffield Wednesday have made are all championship quality. All of them. They have got probably, other than Leicester, probably the biggest backing in the division. The fans are fully behind them. They've got new ownership. The back with the owl on the shirt. The back.
I think it looks horrendous. That logo to me is absolutely horrendous. Honestly, the new logo, I thought it was really nice, and I thought it was really modern. I think that's
Sheffield Wednesday, mate. That is Sheffield Wednesday. That logo there.
It was honestly, in the 90s.
Yeah, that's when they were big, and that unfortunately pains me to say it, but I'm telling you, they're going to challenge for the title. They're going to miss out, but they're going to finish second. You're going to have to turn your stream off, mate. I'm telling you, Sheffield Wednesday finishing second, right? Listen, I don't know how long you want Sheffield Wednesday to be punished for a bad owner, but at the end of the day, you can't punish a football club forever. They've gone through administration. We were just unlucky that when we got Tony Stewart, he didn't have any money. He was broke. They've got a chairman and people that have got financial backing. Good luck to them. I wish we had that, yeah, but we didn't. So you can't do the green-eyed monster at Sheffield Wednesday for me, and that's what a lot of Rotherham fans do. And I get a lot of stick is because I'm actually real. Yeah, I'll tell people Sheffield Wednesday are a massive club where people don't want to admit it. I'll say that Sheffield Wednesday have signed great players. People don't want to admit it. That is a great team. I think Barry Bannon, he has passed it a bit, but you got to think he's at League One. At League One, he's going to piss it, innit? The people, he don't need any pace. They're not going to get near him. He's just going to ping the balls off. That low, he looks electric. I just think they're just going to get promoted quite easily as well. I think them and Leicester will probably run away with it, in my view. I think the only hope that Wednesday don't run away with it is the manager. As a Rotherham fan, I don't want him to get promoted, but I can't sit here and say I don't think they're going to get promoted because I'd just be lying to you. And I don't like to do that. I like to give a fair, honest opinion on it. And for me, I just can't see past Sheffield Wednesday and Leicester. I can't. With the signings they've made, I don't think Wednesday are finished in the market either. So I think they're probably going to add a few more as well. For me, I can't. Sorry, Bez. I know it's upsetting.
You don't have to apologise. I think I'll just break down a couple of your points. I do agree with you. The fact that you can't just keep punishing the football club. It's not about punishing the club. It's more about, and you are right. I've probably got my Rotherham, tinted hat on, and this is what annoys me. Rotherham went into administration. They came out of it, and they still don't seem to spend money. Rotherham do the right thing.
To the owner. It's not.
It might be, but Rotherham, you might be. But in a way, you should be
praising the Wrexham owner. You wouldn't be moaning, would you?
No, I wouldn't be.
You wouldn't be. No. Yeah, so you can't have the fans after what they've endured with Chansiri. Let's be honest. Take the fact away that it's Sheffield Wednesday. The size of that football club, they've sold, is it 26,000 season tickets?
Apparently so, yes.
Yeah. You can't deny that fan base deserves some success. Take away the fact of the rivalry between the two clubs. Yeah, take that away. Forget that. Just park it and say that this is, I don't know.
No, but to be fair to me, Lee, I did.
Or somebody like that.
I know, but I did.
Say, they've got a great fan base. They deserve it.
Yeah. In my video, I did say it wasn't just about Wednesday. It's about, I'm actually not happy with Leicester. The fact that, I even said this, Leicester City did the same thing. They went to administration, got out of whatever they got out of, and next season they're spending loads of money. So
yeah, but they didn't get out of it. You're saying they got out of it, but they had points. Wednesday had points deductions. They got relegated. Yeah, and fans were still paying the highest ticket prices in the Championship to watch the team get splattered every week.
That's true.
Get the words out, but they've got splattered every week. Yeah, paying the highest ticket prices. Come on, man. You can't put.
No, that is true. I'm not denying that. That is true.
As a football fan, just take your Rotherham glasses off, mate. That's all.
I have done that. But just going back to my prediction, I've not done that because it is Sheffield Wednesday. I promise you. And you've admitted it's down to the manager. The manager won 1 game or 2 games of football in 12 months. 2 games of football.
Yeah, I agree with the point of the manager, but look at the signings. Are you telling me they're not Championship players?
No, the signings are very good. And I said that. I said the signings are very good. But the manager, it has a massive hold over a team. If I sign Lionel Messi and put him at left back, he's not going to work. I'm not saying that they're going to do that, but I'm just saying that you need the right manager. And don't get me wrong, Wednesday will start slow. As you have said about Rotherham, you've got to say about Wednesday because they brought in
but what I'm going to say to you is I've seen poor managers get good teams promoted.
It's very rare, though, I think.
No.
I think it's rare.
So for me, listen, this is going to be controversial. I don't think Paul Warren's a good football manager. I don't.
Okay.
Tactically, I do not think he's a good football manager. And that has been proven when he goes to the Championship. No matter whether he was managing Rotherham or managing a big club in Derby.
Derby, yeah.
Yeah, he were going to get them relegated. Yeah, and they're a big club. And soon as the other manager come in, they shot up the table because Paul Warne is not a good football manager. He's okay at this level where the tactic. This is the problem. What you're not thinking, it's League One, it's League Two. Tactically, you don't need as much in your bag. You don't need the tools in that bag. As long as you've got good players, they can carry that team over the line.
Okay.
And that's what'll happen with Wednesday for me. That's my thing. Now, if we get promoted to the Championship, that manager will be exposed straight away. 100%. He may get exposed at this level, but it's less likely because of the quality and the money they've spent. Like you said, them players' wages, half of these teams in this league cannot compete with the wages Sheffield Wednesday are paying. And rightly so, because they've sold 26,000 season tickets. You can't say that's unfair.
No, I agree.
They deserve good players. That's it.
I agree with that. Okay. Let's move on. Let's move on anyway. It'll be interesting to see what happens. I mean, one last thing I will say, and this is one of the reasons why I've done what I've done. Wednesday versus Bolton on Saturday. I know Wednesday won the game, but Bolton were absolutely dominant on Wednesday as well. I know they're a Championship side. It was only the red card that ensured that Wednesday won the game. Anyway, let's move on. Right. Next then is that Stevenage. It is Stevenage Borough. Fair play to him. Last season, had a great season. Alex Revel, one of his first ever jobs. He's done a decent job so far. Some players have brought in. Josh McGuinness is an okay signing. Terry Taylor, I like from Charlton. Daniel Barnum from Norwich as a goalkeeper is a decent signing. Again, Stevenage, they've done it where they've only brought in, I think, 5 players in total. So they've obviously took what they had last season and tried to strengthen it. I do think they're going to miss Charlie Good, Dan Sweeney, and Harvey White, though. They have lost those players. And because of that, I actually do think Stevenage will drop into the bottom half. I think last season was just kind of a one-off for him. I do think they're going to be bottom half this season.
Yeah. That's a difficult one for me. So I'm just going to put the mid-table. But yeah, I think that's one where you could be right on that one because they could sneak into that bottom half. But I am going to put a mid-table. But I think between them and Leyton Orient, it could be either way. I could easily put them there. Do you know what I mean? And then there. But yeah, I'll go with Stevenage as mid-table.
Okay. Next is Stockport County. Again, a team who are on the up currently. Obviously, they've lost their manager, which is a big move. But they have brought in the Rochdale manager, who obviously we spoke about yesterday. Jimmy McNulty is a manager who is doing an incredible job for Rochdale. Whether or not he can carry it on, I don't know, but they have got money behind him. Ryan Glover, good signing from Barnet. James Daly. I thought he was an excellent Man United youngster, but they've obviously let him go to Stockport. So that's a good signing. Eugene O'Connell's a great signing. Ben Osborne, good signing. Michael Mandron, good signing. Luca Ashby Hammond, good signing. This is the last team that I have who I believe will get in the playoffs. And that'll be the 3rd year in a row, I think, they'll get in the playoffs rather than Stockport.
Yeah, so for me, again, Stockport mid-table. Unfortunately, I don't see that much from Stockport. Yeah, I'm not overly impressed with Stockport. I watched them the other day. They didn't show anything for me. So yeah, I'll just put them mid-table.
Interesting. I think that's one. I think you're probably going to get wrong personally, but we'll see. Next, Wigan Athletic. Wigan, again, another side who struggled last season, but they brought in a good manager in Gary Caldwell, and again, he did an incredible job getting Wigan out of the kind of bottom 4 and they ended up staying up quite comfortably. And I think the reason that worked is the type of manager Gary Caldwell is. I think he was obviously a defender by trade, and I think he just started by organising defence. I've said on this podcast a number of times that sometimes you don't necessarily need good technical or even good defenders. As long as you've got the manager or a coach who can organise the defence I think you're gonna, be able to build a bit of a brick wall, which is what Gary Caldwell did. They've signed Max Power back, which is a good signing, although he is getting to be on the old side. He's 33 now, and a lot of players who again were unknown. Ryan Trevitt from Brentford, good signing. Archie Harris from Bournemouth. Joe Walsh on loan from QPR is a decent sign as well. I can't see Wigan doing anything. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Then finishing bottom half again, unfortunately. So I'm going to stick them in bottom half.
Fair enough. Where have I got? So,
I've got 2 left. I've got 1 mid-table, 1 bottom half. I'm putting Wigan in mid-table is what I'm going to do. So yeah, I'm putting Wigan
I'm going to put Wigan bottom half.
Okay. Any reason why?
Yeah, I just don't see nothing from him really. There's nothing that they've signed or done that makes me think they can go above bottom half. I think they could peter between, top half during the season, but yeah, I don't see him. I don't see him doing out, mate, at all.
Okay. Last club, Wycombe Wanderers. Michael Duff still their manager. Again, another decent manager. Wycombe, again, a club that did have, or they seem to have a bit of money behind them as well. And actually, they have made some decent signings. Connor Hazard from Plymouth, Steve Cook, albeit he's quite old now, 35, but he's also his experience. Cody Woodrow, I like that signing from Luton, still 31 years old. Silko Thomas, and then they've obviously got in a couple of loan players. Emre Tezgel, who I really rate from Stoke. He's a youngster who I've always liked the look of. He's had a couple of loan spells in League 2, where he scored, I think, 10 goals in 30 games for Crewe Alexandria, if I'm not mistaken. I've only got 1 place left, Wycombe, so I'm going to put them in the bottom half. I have to say, I think Wycombe, Wigan, Reading, maybe Mansfield. I think all these sides will finish between 7th and 20th, so I'm relatively happy with leaving Wycombe in that bottom half.
Fair enough. And I've only got 1 place left, so they will have to go into the mid-table. So, yeah, like I say, you could easily swap a Wigan with them.
That's what I've done, that's what I've done.
Yeah, it could easily be that, but I think I'm confident with my picks there. Leicester champions, Sheffield Wednesday second. I think Plymouth or Luton will win the playoffs. And then the rest is a much likeness. Barnsley and Doncaster for me, nailed on relegation for them 2 clubs. And I'm not just saying it. Like I said, I've picked Wednesday. I mean, I hate Wednesday the most out of Doncaster and Barnsley. Wednesday I hate the most. So it's not any bias towards them 2 clubs. I just think they're pathetic clubs. Do you know what I mean? So nothing personal.
I'll just quickly review. I mean, the thing with Barnsley and Donny is I understand a little bit with Doncaster. I don't with Barnsley. You said didn't you, about Wednesday and about the fact that you don't think Wednesday will need a lot to do to get promotion because they've got the quality. I think Barnsley are a team where haven't they got enough quality to stay up, if you like. So I do kind of agree with Donny, but I just think with Barnsley, I just can't see Barnsley going down personally. Not this season anyway. After my picks, I've got Leicester, the same as Lee, winning the league. I've gone for Luton. Obviously, I've got Sheffield Wednesday a lot lower than what Lee had them. We've kind of got into detail about that, so I'm not going to go into any more detail. Playoffs, I think I've got 3 of the 3 playoff sides who were pretty much in the top 8 last season, so not a lot of change for me there. And then mid-table and bottom half, I think all those teams could probably mix. I think the easy ones for me were probably Wimbledon going down and probably Bromley going down. I think they were quite obvious for me personally. So I think that's it then, Lee.
Super, guys. What do you think of the predictions? Do you agree with us? drop your comments in. We respond to all the comments as well. So if your team's in there, what do you think? Do you think we've got it right with your team, or have we missed a trick? Have we missed a signing that you've done? Have we missed something? Like I say, we're not 100% football experts. Well, I'll probably say I'm better than the experts, to be honest with you, but I don't often get stuff wrong, and that's not me just blowing my own trumpet, but I'm blowing my own trumpet a little bit. But yeah, for me, I think we've got it spot on. Well, I have. Bez is way off with Sheffield Wednesday, but I think other than that, as picks are pretty similar. There's a few, that we haven't, but I think I'll come out on top with this one. 100% sure of that. Please drop a like on the video if you've liked watching the content, and drop us a follow. We're over 2,100 now, so we've had another 100 followers today, which is absolutely phenomenal. So thank you for your support. Much love to everybody who keeps watching the videos. It does inspire us to do more, and to continue the channel running. Because like I said, we don't make anything from the channel. So despite what people say, they're here just trying to make money on clickbait, this, that, and the other. It's all nonsense. Don't listen to it. Thank you for watching. Like I said, please like and share and subscribe. And as always, up the Millers.
Cheers.